An armored train carrying the North Korean leader left Pyongyang for a 2,800-mile journey across China to his planned summit meeting with President Trump in Vietnam, the North Korean state news media said. Seoul, South Korea. North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, left the country's capital by train on Saturday, starting a journey across China to his planned summit meeting with President Trump in Vietnam in the coming week. An armored train carrying Mr. Kim left the station at 5 p.m. local time, the Russian news agency TASS first reported from Pyongyang, the capital, quoting an unnamed diplomatic source. Later, the North's official Korean Central News Agency confirmed Mr. Kim's departure, reporting that senior party and military officials had sent him off from the Pyongyang railway station in a ceremony that included an honor guard. The North Korean leader will cover 2,800 miles over the next few days, passing through industrial cities in southern China and northern Vietnam before he reaches Hanoi, the Vietnamese capital, in time for his meetings with Mr. Trump on Wednesday and Thursday. Earlier Saturday, the Vietnamese Foreign Ministry announced that Mr. Kim would make an official visit to Vietnam in the coming days. The North's leader would be visiting at the invitation of Nguyen Phu Trong, the president and general secretary of the governing Communist Party, it said. The Vietnamese and South Korean news media had reported in the past week that an advance team of North Korean officials in Vietnam visited a train station near the Vietnam-China border, raising speculation that Mr. Kim would arrive by train. It remained unclear why he would choose to take the train to his second summit with Mr. Trump, rather than to fly, as he did to Singapore, where he met Mr. Trump for the first time in June. But the reported travel route may reflect Mr. Kim's apparent desire to learn from the experiences of China and Vietnam to develop his country's decrepit economy. The North Korean advance team has checked industrial and tourism centers north of Hanoi for possible visits there by Mr. Kim before or after his meetings with Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump says the United States can help Mr. Kim realize his dream for his country's economy, but only if North Korea denuclearizes. When they met in Singapore, Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim produced a vaguely worded agreement to build new relations between their countries, and to work toward a peace regime and complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Although North Korea has suspended all its nuclear and missile tests during its negotiations with Washington, it has yet to start denuclearization. Mr. Trump is expected to use his Hanoi summit meeting to push for a freeze on North Korea's nuclear and missile programs, as well as a road map for ridding the country of all its nuclear and other weapons of mass destruction and their delivery systems, according to United States officials. Mr. Trump also seeks to ensure that both sides have a shared understanding of what they mean by the complete denuclearization of Korean Peninsula. In the past, North Korea had indicated that it would be willing to denuclearize only when the United States removed American troops from South Korea, as well as keeping long-range bombers and other nuclear-capable military assets from the peninsula. But officials from both the United States and South Korea insist that their country's alliance should not be on the negotiating table between Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim. The United States and partners are prepared to explore how to mobilize investment, improve infrastructure, enhance food security, and more in the DPRK, the White House said in a statement this past week, using an abbreviation of the North's official name, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Robust economic development under Chairman Kim is at the core of President Trump's vision for a bright future for United States DPRK relations. The White House said North Korea had also committed to the dismantlement of plutonium and uranium enrichment facilities. Officials from both countries are already in Hanoi negotiating the agenda, logistics and other details for the meeting, including what first steps toward denuclearization North Korea should take. North Korea has offered to dismantle its nuclear complex in Yongbyon, which houses plutonium and uranium enrichment facilities, but has said it would do so only when the United States took corresponding measures. The scale of North Korea's actions is likely to depend largely on whether Washington agrees to ease sanctions, according to South Korean officials familiar with the negotiations. Mr. Kim's efforts to rebuild the country's economy have been hampered by a series of tough United Nations sanctions for which the Trump administration has campaigned. The sanctions seek to block key North Korean export items, such as coal and iron ore, as well as sharply limiting the North's ability to import fuel.